Hi there everybody, it's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from SlimmandStylish.com. Thank you very much for joining me today for another preview project from the mini catalogue which goes live over on my shop on the 5th of January, and you can purchase any products then from www.SlimmandStylish.stampinup.net, and it's in the corner. So today I'm going to be showing off the new Art Gallery photopolymer stamp set. This comes with a fantastically shimmery gold ribbon. There is also a coordinating die set for this and an embossing folder. So those are here, but I'm not going to be using them for today's project. Okay. There are also some lovely 12 by 12 DSP papers which do feature in the project today. So let me just pull these up and show you, because they are stunning and lovely, and I will show you my favourite one, which is hiding at the moment. There's so many papers. There's my favourite one, this one. I love it. But I know I'm not going to be able to cut into it because I love it too much. I think it's just gorgeous. So this paper here with the roses on, this is the one I'm going to be using today, because if you turn it over you've got this absolutely gorgeous yellow and I love it. So I'm going to be using that DSP in the back of the note card, and then I'm going to be using both of these because these are 2 layered stamps, so you can 2-step them. And then I'm going to use the stalk as well. And I've used Good Luck on this one, and I'm still going to use it. Am I? No, I'm going to use Thank You. Yeah, I'm going to use Thank You because I get through quite a few thank you cards, because anyone who generally shops for me, I send them a little thank you gift and also a thank you card along with them. So it's always handy for me to have thank you cards sitting and waiting to go. So I'm going to use Thank You. In fact, let's get that out now and pop it on. And then when I do it in Good Luck, I will know that I made a plan to use Thank You. So I'm going to pop that onto one of our little D blocks. And now I've got a load of D blocks here for all the different pieces that I'm going to need. So you want this one, which is the full one. This one up here, which is the one that's sort of a bit more sketchier, which is going to pop the detail in. And finally the stem of the flower as well. And like I said, there are dies that cut all of these out, but I quite liked it as a panel for this card. So I had got the full intentions when I stamped it of cutting it out, but I just fell in love with it as a panel and decided to stay like that. So there's the catalogue. I can't show you inside it until the 5th of January. Unfortunately, but on the 5th of January there will be a copy of it on my website. You'll also be able to shop from it, and if you want an actual physical copy, just drop me a message and I'll pop one in the post to you. Right, for this project you're going to need a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock that is half a sheet of A4, so it'll be 14.85 centimetres by 21 centimetres. And I'm just going to use my trimmer and I'm going to score that in half so that I can create it into the card. So it means it's 21 centimetres. I can score it and turn it into a card. So with our trimmers, the dark one is for trimming and the light one is for scoring. Don't get them the wrong way around. Well, it's okay for scoring. If you mean to trim and you score, you're okay, because you can then still trim. But if you mean to score and you trim, that's pretty much end game then. Okay, you also need some smoky slate. So I have got 2 pieces of smoky slate. This bit here is the right size. This is the size of my card. So it's going to be 10 centimetres by 14.25 centimetres, which will leave just a nice white gap around it. And then I've got this bit here, which is for the matting of my picture, and I've left that completely big so I can cut it down dependent on how much card I end up using for my picture. and I've got some scrap Whisper White, which I have done the same, so I can chop it down dependent on how much space I use. So let's get going. You're going to need Smoky Slate, you're going to need So Saffron, and you're also going to need Crushed Curry. I think these go really well together. They're my favourite colour schemes actually, so it works quite nice. My advice to you is to do the stalk first. I mean, I don't suppose it matters, but I prefer doing the stalk first. And you just ink it up and stamp it down, and it does, the stamp does this effect on its own, so like this wishy-washy, it does it light in some areas and dark in others, and I think that's really effective because it looks like you've made a really cool effect, and all you've just done is stamped it, really. Love to take credit for it, but stamp does all the work. So this is the big base one, so when you're actually using it, you're using this one with the lighter colour, so we're using So Saffron. Ink that up and stamp that down on top of the stalk, just there. There we go. Close that. Crushed curry. Now I have to leave my crushed curry open because I've got a mess up here, so it doesn't actually slide in, which is very annoying. I keep trying to stick it down, but it doesn't really work. And I don't want to chop it off. I'm not really sure what to do with it, but it's just annoying. So I'm now going to take the crushed curry and I'm going to layer it over the top. My advice to you is to use this line here and this line here as your line ups. And you're over the top of me, so I'm hoping that that's working better than it looks to me. Yeah, there we are. And there is your flower with the additional indent on it. I quite like. So now you've got that. Oh, I'm hammering the side of my desk. I have a shelf at the side of my desk, and as I turned my paper trim around, I caught it at the top. You can trim this then however you want to trim it, whichever size is best. So I'm going to trim it at 10 centimetres. Oh, there you are. You can use the scorer. You need the trimmer. So 10 centimetres. I'm going to take a little bit more off it. I'm going to do it at 9.5 centimetres. So 9.5 centimetres by 7 centimetres, I think is what I'm going to do it at. I don't know if that's the same size I did it before. You just want to trim it so it's... Actually, I'm going to go narrower. Am I going to go narrower? Yeah. So I'm going to take it down to 6 centimetres, which is actually just going to chop really close to my flower. Yeah, I like that. So that is 6 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. So I am going to cut my scrap piece of Smoky Slate, which is there. What did I say it was? 9.5 by 6. Okay, so I'm going to cut it at, yeah, at 6.5 by 10. My memory is atrocious. I find that to paper craft, if you're doing measurements, memories are really helpful, and mine are terrible. So I've just done it 0.5 centimetre more than my actual bit, so it will sit on it like that. Which I can tell you right now is thinner and smaller than this one. Not by much, but it is. But it's however you feel like cutting it, and I always think you're better to stamp it first and then cut it down to the size that you like. And if you do what I did, where you start off bigger and then decide you want to take off more, that's much easier because you can't stick card back on, but you can take more off. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that onto the matting piece. like that. And then I've got a little strip of DSP that I used for the card previously, and this needs to be the same width as the Smoky Slate backing, which obviously it's not because it was scrap DSP. So what I'm going to do, because I find this a lot easier, and if you're using DSP and you're going to be sticking it onto the backing, this is what I would recommend you do. Stick it while it's full. That might sound daft, but stick it while it's full. Work out how high it's going to be. So it's going to come to about there. So pop your glue down on your actual card. Stick this down. So you're happy that it's covering all of the card it needs to cover and that there's no frame around it, which I am. Then you'll see what the overhang is. So you can bring your trimmer in then and you can cut it smooth. I find that if you, oh, a little bit more off there. I find that if you try and cut DSP to match the cardstock, it's very easy to get wrong, and then you can get it so it doesn't line up perfectly. I find if you stick the bigger piece over the cardstock and cut it down, then it will line up a lot better. So across here I'm just going to pop a little strip of Stampin' Seal. And where is this glimmery? This is just, oh, isn't it gorgeous? It just shines and shines and shines. So you want to stick that over there. Leave a small gap because you're going to tuck that behind to keep the ribbon in place. Okay, so now I have had people message and ask that if I've stuck this down flat on here, why have I then bothered to tuck it behind? Why haven't I just chopped it straight with a card? Well, because it frays. So the edge of the ribbon will eventually, you can see there, the more I'm pulling on it, the more it's going to fray. If it's on the edge, every time you pop it in the envelope, out the envelope, every time they open it or catch it, it's going to fray and it's going to start to look messy. Whereas if that bit is tucked underneath, the bits on the edge will always look neat and tidy. So that is why I tuck it behind. Okay, couple of dimensionals on the back of my panel. Pop that on there. Okay, you can make a very easy small bow, very easy, very tiny out of this. This glittery ribbon that comes in this suite is very good for this, and I'll tell you why. It's because the gold thread that runs through it, I don't know whether you can hear it as I'm doing it, is scratchy. So it's not smooth like an ordinary ribbon. So it actually holds itself in place really, really well. So as you actually come to create your bows, you can create smaller ones and know they're going to stick in the right place perfectly, because this is not smooth. Even like tugging it, it's not going to come across. It's held in place really well, and it makes it a lot easier then when you're trying to stick it, because the seal will stick better onto this ribbon and it sticks very well. So I always like, when you go through catalogues or when you look at ribbons and you're crafting, if you've got a smooth ribbon, I always think that's going to be a pain to tie in a nice bow or not. Whereas if you've got a bit of a scratch on it, admittedly it doesn't feel as nice, but it is a lot easier to put into a bow. So for the final bit, I'm going to be using the Thank You, I'm going to be using the Smoky Slate, and have I got my scrap, some scrap Whisper White? Yes, I have. I use some very thin scrap. I'm going to stamp the Thank You. And then I'm using the Window Punch, which I'm just going to grab off my rack because I forgot I'd use that, so I hadn't got it out. I like to have everything on my desk when I come to film. So I'm just going to stamp that out. Or stamp it out, punch it out. I know what I mean. And I'm going to chop it straight there. So that will stick straight to the edge and come over here. So for that, I'm going to grab a mini dimensional. Our dimensionals come in two sizes, big and little. So I'm going to pop a little one on there. Pull that off, and I'm going to grab my Tombow and just pop a little bit of sticky on there, because you'll notice it's 3D here and flush here because that's obviously already put up on a dimensional. So I'm going to do that, stick it down, and finally some of our gilded gems. These are gorgeous. These are from the annual catalogue. They are not from the mini, but they are just lovely, really nice, and we've got them in the different sizes, small, medium and large, and I'm just going to grab 3 of the small ones and I'm going to pop them in that corner. One, two, and 3. I like doing the 2 outsides and then putting 1 in the middle. I find that I'm a better judge of distance that way. And then finally, we had already cut, scored and burnished the card, so I'm just going to pop some liquid glue on the back. And I'm going to pop this down. Ooh, on my card. And there we go. 2 cards using the Art Gallery stamp and the Art Gallery paper. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. All items that I have used on this video are available to purchase from my store, www.slimmandstylish.stampinup.net. Alternatively, if you would like a copy of our catalogues, please send me an email to slimmandstylish@live.co.uk or leave me a comment below and I'll get in touch with you. I upload regular content to this channel, so if you do enjoy watching my tutorials, please make sure that you have subscribed and rang the bell to get notifications when new videos go live. Thank you for joining me and have a lovely day.